kuwapatia wana Uganda uwezo wa nia ya pili, ulinzi wa nchi, kudumisha swala la amani kwa wana Uganda. Nia ya tatu ni umoja wa nchi, kuondoa ubaguzi wote pia ukabila. Nia ya nne uhuru wa nchi, wana Uganda wafurahie uhuru wa nchi. Nia ya tano uchumi wa nchi, kuboresha uchumi wa nchi na maendeleo. Nia ya sita huduma kwa watu, kuinua maisha ya watu kwa huduma bora. Nia ya saba kuondoa wizi, kufukuza mafisadi na viongozi wabaya. Nia ya nane tena kabisa kuunganisha wakara moja kwa Uganda nzima. Nia ya tisa umoja wa Afrika, kusaidia nchi jirani wakipata shida. Nia ya kumi tena muhimu, kugeuza hali ya uchumi iweze kwa wote. Nia za chama cha NRM zilizotuchukua msituni tukomboe nchi, tulijitolea sisi wenyewe, tukawacha na wazazi wetu tukomboe nchi. Nia za chama cha NRM zilizotuchukua msituni tukomboe nchi, tulijitolea sisi wenyewe, tukawacha na wazazi wetu tukomboe nchi. Nia za chama cha NRM zilizotuchukua msituni tukomboe nchi, tulijitolea sisi wenyewe, tukawacha na wazazi wetu tukomboe nchi. Nia ya kwanza demokrasia, kuwapatia wana Uganda uwezo wa. Nia ya pili ulinzi wa nchi, kudumisha swala la amani kwa wana Uganda. Nia ya tatu ni umoja wa nchi, kuondoa ubaguzi wote pia ukabila. Nia ya nne uhuru wa nchi, wana Uganda wafurahie uhuru wa nchi. Nia ya tano uchumi wa nchi, kuboresha uchumi wa nchi na maendeleo. Nia ya sita huduma kwa watu, kuinua maisha ya watu kwa huduma bora. Nia ya saba kuondoa wizi, kufukuza mafisadi na viongozi wabaya. Nia ya nane tena kabisa kuunganisha wakara moja kwa Uganda nzima. Nia ya tisa umoja wa Afrika, kusaidia nchi jirani wakipata shida. Nia ya kumi tena muhimu, wakatuchukua msituni tukomboe nchi. Tulijitolea sisi wenyewe, tukawachana wazazi wetu tukomboe nchi. Nia za chama
Let's prepare for the prayer. Madam Beth, please.
May we bow down and pray. Dear Lord Father, we take this opportunity to thank you for this morning. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the journey mercies that you have given us this morning. We call upon you this morning to come and guide us as we deliberate the affairs of this great institution. Lord, we thank you for UPDF. We thank you for Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs. We thank you for the leadership of Wazalendo, the board and management. Thank you for the great members and whatever you're doing in their lives. May you guide us as we deliberate for the success of this institution. In Jesus' name I pray.
I request we take our seats. Next on the agenda
is the official opening of the 19th Annual General Meeting, and then the remarks by the Chairman of the Board of Directors, Lieutenant General Sam Kavuma. I take this opportunity to hand over the mic, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
Director of Ceremonies, our senior comrade Kayihura, one of the founder members of Wazalendo sacco, and the very first chairman of this mighty sacco. The generals present, those representing the service commanders, and those that are here in their individual capacities, the senior officers present, honorable delegates, our distinguished guests, our partners and colleagues in the cooperative family, colleagues, members of the board, the CEO, and the entire management, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. For those who may not know, the chair of this meeting, let me take this opportunity to introduce this chair to you. And he's the one holding the microphone now. My name is Lieutenant General Sam Kavuma, the chairman of the Board of Governors of Wazalendo sacco, and by that, I'm the chair of the AG. Let me take this very opportunity to warmly welcome you, all of you here, to this 19th annual general meeting of Wazalendo sacco. For before the official opening of the meeting, we need to first agree on the agenda of the day, and then adopt it, and then we move. I believe each one of you has got a copy of the day's agenda, of the meeting's agenda. Number one item of the agenda, of course the other ones, the arrivals and the breakfast and the anthem and prayer. Then we need to, after adoption of the program, we shall have the official opening of the meeting by the chairman. After that, we shall have the review of the previous action points, so resolution, ordinarily known as minutes of the previous meeting. After that, we shall have presentations on the from different actors, and one will be the wheel, that is the investment arm of Wazalendo sacco. Then we shall have by the MD. Then we shall have the report of the performance of the sacco for the last year, the year in review. And this is by other than the CEO. Then after that, we have the final accounts 2024 and budget estimates for 2025 by the treasurer of the board. We have after that the report by the chairman of the supervisory board. It used to be called SUPCO, Supervisory Committee, but it was now changed to the board. So it is a supervisory board by the chairman, and from there we shall have external auditors report. Then after, the board will present to you the suggested proposals for the next financial year for your approval or disapproval. After that, what we want normally, the practice is that either after presentation, then there is discussion. But what we chose to do this time, because of time, we want you to listen to all the presentations and take notes. Then after that, we shall give 1 hour to discuss or to raise observations, concerns, contributions, recommendations to all those presentations that would have been presented to us. Then from there, from discussion, we shall go to remarks by Register of Cooperatives from the Ministry of Cooperatives, Trade and Nakuendelea. Then we shall have remarks by the body that supervises all the SACCOs in Uganda, known as Hukusku. I can see the chairperson and the CEO are arriving now. So we shall have a word of advice from them. You are welcome, Honorable Chairperson. Then we have a brief program of awarding gifts to the best performers in the year, in the circle. Then we shall close this meeting. Now, that is the agenda of the day. If there are any additions, subtractions, please, this is the time for you to raise it. And if there isn't, then I will ask any member to raise up and propose the adoption of the agenda. Then we shall have another member to second the proposal, and we proceed.
Assistant Officer 2, Rimaso Jumba Isaac, Delegate representing Artillery and Air Defense, Stock ASC 2nd Division. I move the motion that the agenda be adopted.
Thank you. Secondment. We may have about 2.
Lance Popolo Okao Isaac, Delegate representing 2nd Division Headquarters. I rise up to second the motion. Thank you.
Another.
Lance Corporal Apio Ongwalu Hawa, Delegate representing 2 CIT Regiment, 4 Tank, 4 Moi, and 97 Battalion. I second the motion to be moved.
Thank you very much. The agenda before us has been adopted, and now we are in business. Then we must now follow the agenda to the letter. The next item is the official opening of the 19th AGM and remarks by the chairman of the board. Now, before the chairman does so, I want to guide you on how we are going to proceed. I hope every member of this house has got this booklet, this huge booklet. This book contains all the information about what has happened last year. Every detail is contained here. And this took us a lot of time to think and put it together for you. Therefore, you may not have time to read it today and maybe understand it, the entire the booklet, but this is for your information. You need to read it, understand it, and if there are any areas you want to raise, because every AGM we print this and we get this information and give it to you. I've never seen anybody writing back to me and saying, Mr. Chairman, I went through this book and this is what I picked, and these are my observations and maybe possible recommendations. But the purpose of printing this, of correcting this information, is for you to understand how the sacco is being run, and then if there are any feedback, you give it to us through all the means of communication we have. And therefore, because of that, we are not going to go through the entire book because we are restricted on time. We want this meeting to end by 1. And therefore, what we are going to tell you is the summaries, but the details are here for you to read and understand. And if there are any queries or observations, please feel free to always bring them forward. Thank you very much. Like I did say, my speech is in this book from page 38 to 39. So you can read it now or at night or 3 months after today. That is up to you. So what I'm going to say may not be related to the speech. The speech is just complying to the regulations and what I'm going to to say my also observations, but the speech, the official speech, is in the book. I think I recognized the protocol clearly when I was there. I may not repeat it here. But let me take this opportunity on behalf of the entire board and the management to warmly welcome you to this, to the 19th annual general meeting of Wazalendo Sacco. I want to say that you are turning up in big numbers, in these numbers really show the importance you attach to this very, very, very important organization. All of you are leaders in UPDF. Wazalendo Sacco belongs to UPDF members and their families. The purpose for which Wazalendo Sacco was formed was to solve the issues to do with the welfare of members of Uganda People's Defense Forces. And when I see you, commanders, in big numbers coming today, this gives me morale that you know what you are supposed to do as leaders of the army, because this circle deals with the life of the people you command. So I want to sincerely thank you, appreciate you, salute you for your coming to attend this meeting. And I request that you clap for yourselves. We invited you here today to report to you. You gave us a task, and we must report back to those who gave us the task. We are here, or you are here to listen from us on how the circle performed last financial year. And like I did say, we have captured all the information that is here. If you go through, for example, on page, I think it is page 8, or there is a summary of figures. Which page is that? It is on page 8 to page 9. You will see figures on how the circle has performed this year. As the chairman of the board, I want to report to you that this last financial year, the circle performed extremely well. If you go deep in the reports, for example, if you go to the speech of the CEO, the report of the CEO, I think on page 40, you will see the summary of growth in percentages. That's when you will know how your circle is doing. So I want to inform you that we are on the right track when it comes to performance. When you look at these figures, they are all in billions, and
the performance or the growth, the sacco is growing at a terrible speed. And I will tell you why the sacco is doing so. So the rest of the information is contained in the book, and those who deal with these figures on a daily basis will go into details of the figures. Why is this sacco performing the way it is performing? Why is it growing at this speed at which it is growing? Again, I want to refer you to the book. You will see what they call organogram of the sacco, the structure. I think it is on page 32. Page 32, you will see how this sacco is organized. Number one organ of this sacco that contributes greatly on the performance and growth is what we know as AGM, Annual General Meeting, which we are in now. It is this organ that tasks or gives the board what to do. As it is, you can see it is AGM up and the arrow goes down to the board. If the AGM does not task the board, then the board has no work to do. When we were going through the day's agenda, there was what we call proposals. Every AGM we come up with proposals to steer the organization. And when you approve them, or when you guide, that's what we take. And that is why the sacco is growing at this speed. So number one contributor of the growth and performance of our sacco is you, the AGM. So I want you to clap for yourselves. Now, AGM, as members, we represent you, the delegates, you represent members. So this meeting is not for you, it is for the members. But you are selected to represent 350 members. So while you are in one seat there, you should remember that that seat is for 350 members of Wazalendo Sacco. And it is these 350 members times the number of delegates here that contribute money, these billions we are talking about. This money does not come from the board, it does not come from the management, it does not come from only the delegates or members of the staff and command. This money we are talking about, these billions we are proud of, come from the members. In other words, without the members, then there is no sacco. So while you are here discussing, bringing your views, remember you are representing someone, some great member somewhere. They don't only stop at bringing in money. No, they also take the money and go and invest it. We shall be telling you that this year, we made a surplus. We don't want to call it profit because we know there are spies from URA here and the Ministry of Finance. We know they plan to you to listen in and report to them. Ours is not a profit. We are not a profit-making organization. We are a welfare organization. Now, the welfare organization made a surplus to again invest in the members for welfare purposes. A tune of 89 billion Uganda shillings. Now, this money, how was it made or realized? It is from the loans that are taken by the same members. They bring money in form of buying shares and savings, but at the same time, they take money in form of loans. And when they take this money, then we pay, all of us, we pay some interest, which interest does not go to South Africa like the one of Stanbic Bank. The interest comes back to the members. Again, later in the day, we shall be telling you how much out of that is going to go back. By the way, this time we are giving it to you all. Now you see. You will be hearing. This time we want to give you a bonus. Forget about the dividends. Dividends will be there, but you will also get a bonus. Because we are happy with you. I'm happy with you. Therefore, number one contributor, great contributor, who contributes about 80% of the growth of this sacco at the way it is growing. If I may remind you, I know normally we don't, there are certain things we don't want to talk about because we have guests. You cannot invite a visitor in your home and then you begin telling him or her how rich you are, how poor he is. That one is indiscipline. So we normally invite other circles here, but when we say we are the biggest, it does not sound good, but so if I can remind you, we are number one in Uganda and number 7 in the entire Africa. And the 6 circles we are competing that are ahead of us are Kenya circles, all of them. But these are circles that were formed in 1970s. So they are older than us by 33 years. But we are competing with them. So, but my point is, who contributes to this? Number one is you, the member. And I want to salute you, the member. Number 2 person, as the chart goes down, are these 2 boards. There are 2 boards there. One is the one I had, the overall board, and then there is the other one with the SUPCO, or supervisory. Their role is just to look at compliance, whether the sacco is in the right. So, the second big contributor is the board. What is the role of the board? I have been telling you in a number of fora the role of a leader or roles of leaders. A leader Number one role of a leader is to think for those you lead. Is to think for those you lead. Yes, they have brains also. Yes, they can think also. But the fact that you were put there to lead them means that you must do an extra thinking for them. I told you, the doctors, we could be having some doctors here. They normally say it is very healthy for anybody to sleep for 8 hours. You know, when you get what they call deep sleep, it reverses the brain. Yes, that is very good. But if you were a leader and your subordinates sleep for 8 hours, but also you also sleep for the same 8 hours because the doctor said it, then you may not be a good leader. Because it is at night that we use, and because during the day when you are in the office, everybody wants you, everybody has this problem, can I see you? You don't get time to think. So you should use night hours when others are sleeping for about 3 or 4 hours to think. Now when you think, you come up with so many things to do for the organization or for those you lead. But you may not do all of them because you don't have enough resources. So what do you do? How do you select those you should do now, those you should do tomorrow, and those you should do next year? Is by coming up with a plan. Coming up with a plan helps you to prioritize the things you have been thinking about. Now, this is what the board does. The board thinks for the organization. After they have thought about so many things, we come up with what we call the strategic plan. We have a 5-year strategic plan. After leaders come up with the plan and prioritized their needs, then the third role of a leader is to allot or assign or give tasks, because you are not going to implement all these yourself. So you must task your subordinates. You will do this, you will do this, company A, if it is fighting. So the board does task. First of all, the board appoints the management to implement their plan. Then when we appoint the management, then we task them to implement our strategies. Out of the 5-year strategic plan, we get a 3-year business plan. And we get activities for every year out of that 3-year business plan. And then we give to them, please. After a leader has allotted tasks to the subordinates, the fourth role of a leader is to facilitate your subordinates. You cannot give me an assignment and you don't facilitate me and you expect results from where? So the fight I have been having all this time with the management is the level of facilitation. It's the level of facilitation. I give them this, they come up with this demand. I give them this, they come up with this. But at the end of the day, we agree. So, facilitation or motivation, that's what we do as a board to the management. That's why you see these figures. That's why you in your offices, I don't think you have received complaints from management, SUPCO, I don't know what. No. We must sit and agree. And we facilitate them to the level we think is not bad. We may not give them what they really desire, but what we give them we feel is enough. And that's why they are happy and doing this. These figures, I don't know how they come about, but they are from them. Now, when number 5, role of a leader, after you have facilitated your subordinates to implement your work, you don't sit back. Because when you sit back, it was not theirs, it was yours. So implementation may not be as you would have implemented it because it is your plan, not theirs. So the next role of a leader, after you have done the other 4, is to supervise. Is to supervise your subordinates. I gave you a task. I facilitated you. I have come to see how you are doing it, how you are implementing it. So, as a board, that's what we do. We always close to the management to supervise. After that, you see, when you supervise leaders, you may find some mistakes and errors. That is normal. But those don't call for immediate punishment. No, remember the plan was yours. It was not theirs. But when you supervise your subordinates and you come across errors and mistakes here and there, it gives you an opportunity as a leader to correct your subordinates, to put them on the right track. And that is exactly what we do as the board. And after that, once a leader does those, then the leader waits for the results. And if the results don't come the way you expected them, having done all those, that's when now caution, punishment, disappointments, come in. I did my part. Why are you giving me these poor results? So that is what the board does. So after we have done that, then it's the management. I have told you, then the management is to implement. And every year, the board sets goals to the management. We don't just let you work. You work what? We must give you targets. And I want to report to you, and I want to thank the management under the CEO, that all the targets we gave them this year were achieved. And some of them actually, as you will be seeing, some of them are beyond 100%. So, like this, the welfare, what? This profit is called what? Surplus. I think we had given them a target of 84. Because last year we made 72. So this time we said 84. Now they have given us 89. So that is over 100%. So, therefore, as I conclude on this point, the performance, the growth of this mighty Wazalendo sacco depends entirely on these 3 pillars. The AGM that represents the members, the board, and the management. And as you will see what I'm talking about. But there is the other 4th pillar, which is not organically on the chart, this is the leadership of UPDF. This is the leadership of UPDF. Wazalendo sacco is a command-led sacco. From its inception, we all remember that General Ronda, the founder, when he was the army commander, together with General Kare Kayihura here. When they came to sensitize us in Guru in 2005, I was a brigade commander of 409 in Arua. So they invited us to Guru and started sensitizing us about the sacco, the benefits, what. So I had a group of stubborn officers in the corner. I don't remember whether we were opposing the sacco or not, but we were talking. Maybe we were somehow not in agreement with them. So Afandekare spotted me. Said, "You Kafuma, why are you?" I said, "Eh? I'm in trouble." But I'm happy that Kafuma of that time. And by the way, I understood well in that meeting, because when I went back to my base in Arua, I called my PC, brigade PC. I asked, "Did you understand what these people were telling us about the sacco?" Then he started teaching me. But I found I was ahead of him. Then I asked him, "How do we now join?" He said, "Afande, there are forms." "Oh, okay. Get me forms, I want to join." So he brought me one form. I said, "No, I want 6 forms." He said, "Afande, you only require 1. I said, "I told you I want 6. I wanted to prove to him that I was ahead of him in understanding the sacco. So he brought me 6. That time, I was a Lieutenant Colonel, was earning 640,000 Uganda shillings as our salary. So when he brought me those 6 forms, I filled 1 form for myself, the second one for my wife, the 4 forms for our children. So for me, I joined with my entire family. I joined Wazalendo sacco with my entire family on the day 1. So Afandekare, I was not opposing you, but I was trying to understand how saccos work. So on this point, I want to really thank AGM members, the board, the management, and the leadership of Uganda People's Defense Force, or the CDF from the late General Ronda up the current one, have been closely monitoring the affairs of Wazalendo sacco. And that's how we brought in you, the front benchers. You are not delegates, but you are members of the staff and command. You are the policy makers of UPDF. That's how you became members of AGM in our bylaws, just because we wanted to recognize the importance and participation of the leadership of UPDF. So I salute you, the leadership of UPDF. So that is why we are who we are in Uganda, in Africa, and in the welfare of our people. We have a few challenges here and there, as life, anybody, the challenges are always there. Of course, we still have members who are not saving well, very little money. We have members who are not buying good shares, and they are the losers. Today, let me tell you this. Today we are going to give you 35 billion as dividends. And then we are going to give you 53.6 billion as bonus. Total will be 88.6 billion given to members. But we don't line up and distribute. Sio ration ya kusema kila moja. No. We do this through shares. So I want you know your shares. You know the money we are going to give out. Now I have revealed it to you. I want you to calculate and see how much are you going to get. Now, if you get 10,000 out of 88 billion, then whom would you blame? Kavuma, the chairman who has given you that? So, when we tell you savings and buying good shares, it's not that we benefit from you. No, it is you to benefit. So we still have that as a challenge. Then the other challenge, of course, the sacco, the organization is growing. My desire, my wish should be that members grow at the same rate with the organization. Why should the organization leave us? So some members have actually done very well. They are growing at the same rate with the organization, but some are still, and this is because of financial indiscipline. People do not want to select, because I don't want to say people don't know. No, we've been teaching you these things, but you deliberately refuse select enterprises that you should invest in and make money. You instead waste this money in some other not very good enterprises. So we still have that. Then, of course, to you, the leaders, we still have the leaders of UPDF, because this is yours. Desertion is a problem, because as you know, people come, join, take loans, and disappear from UPDF. And when they disappear with our money. So you need to do something to really put this thing down, because it is really, eating into your money, not my money. They are eating into your money. My final point is an appeal. When you look at these figures on page, was it 32? Or page 8. Page 8 of this book, where the figures are, you realize that this year under review, loans and advances, we gave you 918 billion in loans. 900, you can correct it to 1 trillion. When I was doing mathematics in primary, you could correct to the nearest, but that was, if it was, the point was 0.5 and above. But even this, you can round it up to 1 billion, 1 trillion. This is the money we gave you this year. Yesterday, I inquired from the chief accountant of Ministry of Defense. I wanted to know the wage bill of UPDF in a year. They told me it is 1.2 trillion. 1.2 trillion. This is the wage bill, including even money that is supposed to be remitted to URA as tax and all that. 1.2 billion, that is the wage bill of UPDF. So I was wondering, If we can give our people $1 trillion without any difficulties, any, struggling, easy. You come, you apply in one day, you get $1 trillion. Why are they fearing to channel their salaries in their bank? Why are you enriching other banks, other people's banks, and you leave yours? What is the problem? So my appeal, can we have your salaries, our salaries, all of us, be channeled in your bank? You will get this money anytime. We have the capacity. They will be telling you, these managers here, the technology, the whatever, the risks, When I became a chairman 9 years ago, Wazalendo Sacco had one cash branch, which was Bombo. One cash branch, which was in Bombo. That one could not certainly serve. That was a big reason for not really trusting the Sacco with your salary. But as we talk now, we have 12 cash branches scattered all over. This last week, we opened 2. One in Arua and another one in Mbari. And we no longer even rely on UPDF land or what. We buy our own land and build. We have built even commercial buildings. So, with cash branches, with the experience of giving you 1 trillion Uganda shillings in form of loans, why can't you trust us with the salaries? So that we overtake the 6 Kenyan SACCOs. What is the problem? So this is my appeal. And that's why I'm in this chair. I see ahead and I come with proposal. But this one cannot be passed by AGM. This is the leadership role with their members to convince them really to have. You are taking, you can imagine people pay in those banks by just depositing their money there when you have your own bank here. Does that make any sense? Finally, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you again for coming, and I wish you, maybe before I close my remarks, I want to introduce my team, the board members. Step forward very quickly, and you mention your names. And I want, in a special way, thank my vice chairman, Colonel Aran Chitanda. As you are aware, I'm now in Mogadishu. I'm not here. But apart from guiding him on phone and communication, but he has steered the board. And really, I want to thank him and congratulate him in front of you. And of course, supported with the rest of the members. Number 1,
Brigadier General Fred Joseph Onata, CEO and ex-official
of the board.
No, Colonel Alan Chanda, I'm the vice chairperson of the board. Thank you. Colonel Dan Tizuwayo, I'm an advocate of the High Court. I'm the board secretary, Wazalendo, sir.
Lieutenant Colonel Jero Muhendo, Treasurer Board. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Metanik Tuhairwe, Board Member representing Northern Region.
I am Major Mariam Kagoro, Gender Representative on the Wazalendo Sacco Board. I'm Mejano Rongodia, your host, board member representing Eastern Region on the board.
I'm Captain Dasan Bonanche, board member representing Western Region.
I am Staff Sergeant Osuko Peter, board member representing West Nile Region, and the only other rank in the board.
I am Captain Isaac Bisaru, board member representing Central Region.
Thank you very much. You may take your seats. So these are the members of the board that have brought this Wazalendo sacco to the level where it is. You can see they are very young people, energetic. So I bring in the experience, they bring in the energy of, then we meet and move forward. So with these few remarks, I want to wish you a fruitful meeting, and I now formally and officially open AGM, 19th AGM of Wazalendo Sacco. I thank you very much. Oh, this is mine.
Thank you so much, the chairman, board of Wazalendo Sacco. Sir, with your permission, allow me announce places of convenience where I'm standing right on my right hand side. There are two buildings. They all contain washrooms, both for female and male, and even for VIPs on that side. Then those seated behind, there is another place of convenience in case you need its services. Thank you.
We proceed with the agenda on the program of the day. May I now invite the MD. Are you the one? The MD to give us the summary of his report. You know me, I'm a selfish person. I take a lot of time when I'm speaking. Then when others come, I limit them. I use the powers of the chair. But maybe before you can stay there, before he comes in, I want to, you know, in a year, so many things happen. And we must recognize those things, bad or good, in a year. The reports that are going to be read to you are for the year, the performance of the board. But they are also performance of the individual members of UPDF, which have also been recognized and registered. So I know there are those people, members here who have been promoted this year. Last year and maybe this year. We last met here in March. Since then, quite a number of people have been recognized for their great work. So may we see them and also recognize them and thank God. So you can see there are quite a number. So we congratulate you. I'm not going to mention you. The generals are General Muhanguzi, General Mugerwa, General... yes, the SFC is Sunday here. They are all of them actually are generals, most of them. The Rukundo here, the General Nata, we congratulate you so much and wish you all the best. There are those also who have not had a good year, who have lost their dear ones. We also want to condole with you. The one I remember is General Stephen Mugerwa. He lost his daughter I think it was last week. And others who may have lost their dear ones, we condole with you. That's what God put there. We cannot avoid it, but we can only say, at least for us, we are still living. And we want always thank God for the gift of life. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Afande Chair. The Chairman Board was Wazalendo Sacco, General Officers present, board members Wazalendo Sacco, the CEO Wazalendo, and your management team, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting the honorable delegates. You're welcome. Kano Yusuf Magero Buha has flashed on that board. I can only explain two things. One of them, Afanda has explained that the rank changed. Last year I was a Lieutenant Colonel, and this time I am here as Colonel. The other one is that I did PSC in Rwanda, because sometimes our partners ask, what is the meaning of this PSC, RW, PSC, UG? So I've taken this opportunity to explain the meaning of that extension in my name. I am the Managing Director of Wazalendo Investment Limited, and I'm here to present to you a summary of our operation and performance during the year 2024 that ended. I thank the management of Wazalendo Sacco for Wazalendo Investment Limited was established in 2021 by Wazalendo Sacco as a business arm. And today they have played a role of a good parent to bring us forward as we are moving along the what? The congested street. The other time, you remember, I just got time on some part of the chairman's time, but now I think we are coming in the sitting room. Our main objective, formation objective, is to engage in all the other businesses or business opportunities that Wazalendo is prohibited or restricted from engaging in by the cooperative law. And by extension, all these businesses must have a direct benefit to members in a way of empowering them or giving additional returns. Returns. So far we are into real estate. We also do contract financing for redundant when we receive funds from the sales. We do road unit services. We are now into road unit services. And then we are planning this coming year to launch a Forex Bureau. That's the introduction of my presentation. The aim of this presentation is to update the 19 AGM on the progress and performance of Wazalendo Investment Limited for the year ended December 2024. And for me to do this, I am going to look at particularly 5 items. That is the decisions that were made here in the 18 AGM. I'll look at performance review. I'll highlight a few challenges and future plans, and I'll conclude. During the 18 AGM, we were directed to do mainly 3 things. The first one was to acquire 3 additional sites, land for additional estate site, and for Uganda shillings 4.3 billion was allocated to this. The other directive was 4 billion Uganda shillings was allocated for acquisition of a road sub-unit equipment so that you can engage on the real estate business. And the last one was to continue conducting feasibility studies on agro-processing and other businesses like insurance, low-cost housing, commercial banking, and the like. The next is our performance. During this year, We have had a number of results, and I'm going to break them down into two. I'll start with the financial performance and looking directly on the profit and loss. That our sales revenue for the year amounted to 5.4 billion shillings in 2024. This is moving up from 2.8 billion that we realized in 2023. Sorry. Total admin and operational expenses incurred amounted to 1.1 billion. It has also moved up from 860. Total other income we realized was 1.2 billion, moving up from 606 million Uganda shillings. Profit before interest and tax in 2024 amounted to 2.1 billion and is moving up from 806. The profit after tax is 1.4 billion for this year. That is about 600 going for tax and is moving up from 510. The tax is income tax. While Wazalendo doesn't has surplus, for us being a company, we still look at this as income and therefore taxable up to today. Income tax computed 626 million from 294 in 2023. We have fully complied with both URA and NSSF. We don't have any outstanding or any complaints with URA as we stand now. Our balance sheet, our total asset grew from 13.7 billion to 27.7 billion, and total liability increased to 25.6 billion from 13.1 billion reported in 2023. Total equity has also increased to 1.9 billion in 2024 from 561 million in 2023. Total equity and liability moved to 27 billion point 5 from 13.5. And then, since that 18 AGM, we have had the following operational achievements. We have acquired 54 acres of land in Namaiba along Mukono Katosi Road at Uganda shillings 55 million per acre, summing up to 2.9 billion for all the 54 acres. And this is our new estate. And this is a report on the first directive of acquiring 3 additional pieces of land. We'll come to challenges because the money is there, but getting the land is very complicated. It takes a lot of time. But we are happy that so far all the 3 estates we've got, we have not gotten any backfire. So we're a bit slow, but we just want to be sure that the land we get does not have any issues after acquiring. So far, we've sold 448 plots out of the 830 plots. 199 of these plots, which is about 44%, was sold directly to our members. And for me, this is the figure that I keep looking for, because the intention may not generally be to make a lot of profits, but to look at the number of our people who are directly acquiring plots. Afande CEO is going to read the Nyumba loan portfolio, but when you go physically, the Nyumba loan may be about maybe 600 billions, but physically on ground, you may not find the what? The houses. Now for me, small as we are, we have 199 plots so far sold to our members. We acquired 6 pieces of road unit equipment from Mantrack, Uganda at a total cost of 3.5 billion, exclusive of tax. We did not pay VAT to this, and we saved some 500 million that we are going to use to acquire a low bed, a fuel bowser, and a small water bowser. We have conducted business study on Forex Bureau, and we are waiting for approval of this application by Bank of Uganda and funding from Wazalendo sacco. Challenges. The land acquisition, the process of acquiring land is tedious and very complicated. One, as you want to acquire, there is going to be a broker who is going to put a caveat on the same land if you don't deal with him. There is going to be a family member who is going to complain that the land belongs to all of them. So finding land is very easy. But by the time you reach the payment time, you'll be seeing a lot of issues coming up. So I can tell you that we have so far visited over 100 pieces of land, but we only managed to get through with one piece of land, and that is the one in Namaiva. The level of land dispute and the tenure system is another challenge, and the long approval process. This is not for record, but even if you're going to the Ministry of Lands, for us we process titles of up to 800 or 700 titles. They will tell you that the printer in Wakiso is able to print not more than 30 titles per day. So if you want us to sit here and work on your titles, you have to think outside the box, and you know what I mean. The high cost of acquiring land, the high cost of searching for land, even if you've not even seen the land, the person who is taking you to that land wants facilitation, even when it is a wetland. He's taking you to a wetland, but he wants you to pay him before you reach there. And he knows that your criteria, you are not going to buy that land, but for him, he wants his what? Facilitation. Then we have to do valuation. For you to do valuation, at least you must be sure that you're going to buy the land. But now here it's very hard. How are you going to negotiate before you have a standard, a professional valuation report? That's another challenge. Then the unusual competition, a speculative market, and totally distorted market price. We get land in Hoima Road. Immediately we came back, we are still looking for approval, and then another real estate dealer has bought the land and he has submitted to us that is actually selling to us the what? The same piece of land. Then the brokerage industry is also very complicated and is not what? Regulated. However, with all those challenges, this is so far what we have managed to do. Our plans, future plans for 2025, I think that's it's the priorities for 2025 is that we shall remain profitable in order to achieve sustainability. Afande didn't say one of our reasons for success is that there is a principle in the army, when the Jess fails, Jess hapana shindwa, kama anashinda anafanya nini? Anafanya nini? So we are not ready. There is no room for failure. We are going to continue being profitable, and we expect those who come after us to also maintain that. We want to stabilize the real estate business and road unit business in 2025. We want to establish and operationalize Forex Bureau operations in 2025. We want to improve on our governance, risk management, and environmental sustainability. With this, our roads, we want to find a way of planting some trees or fruits instead of just putting these mark stones and the rest. We want to enhance and continue enhancing our operational efficiency through innovation and technological enablement. This, we are extracting some of them from our strategic priorities in the strategic plan. We will continue conducting feasibility studies on low-cost housing and agro-processing, and then we are going to engage on aggressive marketing and awareness. You realize that when Wazalendo is doing mobilization, Will has not been moving along, but this time around we are going to move along because we want this number 199 to increase to at least 1,000 by the end of 2025, or at least 500 if the other one is a tall order. During the year 2024, I'm concluding, Will performed exceptionally well in terms of operational efficiency, business expansion and growth, and process improvement. With acquisition of road unit equipment and the third estate site in Mukono, and yet to acquire other additional sites. The performance of WIL is in 2025 is projected to be even more remarkable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MD Will. Like I did advise, you take notes, and then we shall have time to discuss. At this moment, let me invite the CEO, Wazalendo Sacco, Brigadier General Joseph Freddy Onata, to take, because he's the main man of the performance, take us through what they have done.
Thank you very much, Afande Chairman. Allow me to ride on the protocol that you had laid so that we save time. But special recognition for our founding chairperson, General Kaihura. We are very proud of you. We are reaping from the energies that you dedicated to steering this circle at no cost, at no pay. That's what we are enjoying today. We have all received a copy of this annual general meeting book, and my statement starts on page 40 and ends on page 44. I have a brief presentation. I'm just going to pick highlights. But also I wanted to guide you when you are reading these financial statements later on, which the auditors are going to come and present. If you look at the financial that the auditors have presented, I think it is again on page, just to guide our people to follow the discussions. On the auditor's report, you look at page 34, no, page 14 and page 15. Now, the financials on page 15 are for the sacco. And then the financials, Wazalendo Sacco as a sacco. And then on page 14 is the group. The group means Wazalendo Sacco plus WIL, Wazalendo Investments Limited. Because I'm raising this because I'm going to present a figure of 88.1. And members will ask, the chairman said 89. And you are saying 88.1. And even when you look at page 8, the chairman directed us to go there. You look at surplus before tax of 88.174 billion. And that is what generates a dividend per share of 5,065 shillings, Uganda shillings, and then a dividend per share of 2,200, not the 89.6. Because in this AGM, when we registered WIL, we said we should allow them time to grow and mature. So whatever they generate, we always allow them to plow it back so that they grow. Now, in the slides there, the other one is dead. And okay. Colleagues, dear members of the AGM, our circle has continued growing in all material aspects. The membership is growing, savings, and then deposits. I used these words carefully because we also have deposits that members are putting as fixed deposits. So when you see me saying deposits and savings, I'm trying to separate what you fix at fixed deposits with the circle and what you save as savings to the circle. And then also the loan portfolio has continued to grow. We shall present a good table that highlights this. We have continued to improve our operations, processes, and they have become more adaptive to the environment under which we operate. We are focused on building a strong capital base as a foundation for sustained lending and credit operations. In the portfolio of 918 billion Uganda shillings, 602 billion Uganda shillings were the disbursements for only last year, and that is an average of 50.1 billion per month, above our projection, which had been 42. I'll tell you where this one is coming from. We also implemented the AGM resolutions, all of them, and particularly I want to highlight in relation to the first point that I had said earlier. We implemented the transfer of 25% of our retirement savings to shares. And the reason for this is that we wanted to build a strong capital base. Now, that resolution was meant to subside for 1 year, and immediately on the 31st December, it expired, unless this board again AGM again resolves otherwise. So for those who did not take advantage of that resolution last year, you no longer have a chance of transferring money to shares. And indeed, those who transferred are going to reap big. The other thing is that while Chairman said you are going to get 35 billion in dividends, and then we are going to give you 56.9, I think, billion in bonuses. Already, before we came to talk about this, Chairman, we had already distributed 32 billion to the members in form of contribution to the retirement fund and then contribution to the savings account. If you add all this, we gave you last year over 110 billion Uganda shillings before we start other things. So this just loan interest is our major source of income, contributing 78%, others contribute only 22%. But this performance of the year was driven largely by good expenditure control and prudent resource allocation that we did for the various projects that we were having. We maintained interest on savings ranging between 4 to 6% for other accounts per annum, and then 7% for the retirement fund account and business savings account. So if you're a wise investor, somebody wants returns, you know, in Uganda, in Ateso we say, take a cent wolava. That is what we say in Ateso. Take a cent wokolachi wolava. Mamga sabi. Okay, so the aim is generally to brief you on the performance of the year, and I'm going to take a very short time here. That is the scope. What is in my report here is that, but I'm not going to follow all that, because operations of will have already been taken care of. I'll pick a few things to talk about. So I've already talked about the loan size. I've talked about the surplus. I've talked about what we have distributed to you, the 32 billion. It's already there. So people have already earned big. So if you have money, the best places now, the best areas to invest in Wazalendo Sacco now are the retirement fund account, the business savings account, and in shares. You will not go wrong. For those of you who have basic calculation to know how much you are going to get in return, just get 2,000, divide 2,203, divide by 15,000. Then you will know that at least you are above 10%, could be around 14% of the total share price. So it is good, a good return. So we are maintaining a very good portfolio mix for us to do. So what were the key drivers of our performance last year? I want to thank the UPDF leadership, and particularly His Excellency the President, for recognizing that there is a need to enhance the salaries of the UPDF. And then enhancement did a great job for us. It is what drove the demand for last year. Asante sana. It has disappeared. Anyway, the other one is that we have diverse channels. Chairman was talking about the cash branches, but we deliver our services on 3 main platforms. I don't know whether Postbank is here, but we had invited them. Good, Postbank is here. We deliver our services on 3 main platforms. Number 1 is that we have the over-the-counter, and that over-the-counter is for Postbank. We do linkage banking with Postbank, and that's why you get over-the-counter, and also on our branches. Then we have the mobile banking platform. We have our own dedicated Waza application, Waza mobile application. We have our own USSD code. So you can access your money through either the branch going to Post Bank, to our branch, or you get it through the mobile phone, and you access it through Airtel, they are here, and then MTN. Airtel are our good partners, they are here with us. Maybe we shall give them a minute to say something later on, and Post Bank, if the chairman will allow. So there are so many things that we are doing. So that availability of those delivery channels is sufficient for you, in line with what the chairman said earlier. And then, of course, we are deploying the right people. I'm glad that the chairman appreciated our efforts. We strongly advocate for deploying the right people with the right skills to do certain things. And this is what is explaining the performance that we are having today. And then the other thing is that we are focused on better risk management procedures that allows us to take the risk that we can accommodate and avoid what we cannot accommodate. The other thing that we have paid attention to is capacity building at all levels. We have done a lot of training for the board. We have done a lot of training for the supervisory board, and we continue doing a lot of training for management. What training are we doing? We are focusing on understanding of the sacco business model. You can come with your PhD in accounts. We shall take you back to the basics of understanding the sacco business model. And that's the reason why we are performing the way we are performing. Let me go to the next slide now, which is going to do a summary. And I'm about to finish my presentation because all the information is in the book. Now, in the table there, behind me, the other slides are a bit slow, is that our assets have continued growing. If you look at the performance over the 4 years, we grew from 630 billion, 0.8 in 2021 to 1.1 trillion in 2024. In fact, we hit the 1 trillion mark in October 2024. Our total liabilities, the biggest component, of course, is the members' savings. Why do we call these liabilities? Members always ask this question. And by basic definition for somebody to understand, not without going to the complications of accounting jargons of President Emeritus CPH Bedi, what is the liability? It is something that takes resources away from you. And your money takes resources from the sacco because we have to pay you interest at the end of every month. Then when you need it, you must access it. So it becomes a sort of liability. But of course, we do transform these liabilities later on into assets by giving you a loan, which becomes an asset to the sacco and gives us money. And then the other one is that equity and reserves have continued growing. If you look at 2021, we had 337.8, and we closed the year with 544 billion. Out of this, we are going to pick some money and give you a bonus, as we shall present it in the proposals later on. Then total savings have also grown from 243.2 billion to 547 billion. When I look at the statistics, I'm interested in what they communicate. What is the message here? The message is that people are building confidence in the sacco. Those days when people would come from the mission, once the money has been paid, the next day, after landing at Entebbe Airport, all the branches of Post Bank and Wazalendo Sacco, only branch in Bombo, would be full. Today, it is not the case. People take time to come and pick this money, meaning that the education that we have taken in training members to understand the proper use of money is beginning to sink, not to think, to sink. People are beginning to appreciate this training. And I'm glad that as commanders, as leaders, we are all partners in this to help our people understand the proper use of money. In line with our objective number 1 in our bylaws, promoting thrift among members. Thrift means proper use of money. The other one is that our loan portfolio also has grown from 484 billion in 2021 to 918. And like from this, 600 billion was the money for last year. Then the other one, of course, the money that are brought forward from the year, since our loan tenure is a maximum of 5 years. So we are doing very well in all material aspects. Now, I say this, I add this here because of what happens outside there. Issues of compliance. We employ civilians. There are about 157 civilians whom we employ in Wazalendo Sacco. And they do NSSF contribution and they pay a tax called pay as you earn. So our contribution in NSSF has also been growing from 238 million in 2021 to 474. And then the tax liability has also kept on growing. From 1.4 billion in 2021, still 1.4 with a few digits there. But what is important for me to inform Chairman, the audience, is that last year we had a big challenge as Wazalendo Sacco. In 2016, URA had slapped us with a tax bill on income taxes, and unpaid taxes in form of pay as you earn for the staff who were transferred from the Ministry of Defense to Wazalendo Sacco. But the ministry had already paid those taxes from the other side. So this liability kept on growing. And on the 18th December, when we were planning for Christmas, URI went and flagged our accounts in Stambik, issued an agency notice to recover all the monies that would drop on our accounts. I immediately communicated to the chairman, and we sought audience with the Commissioner General, URA, and he directed his team to meet us. We had meetings back and forth. We constituted a team of Wazalendo Sacco, led by Director of Finance and Head Finance, Kano Katanaka. We went there, we had a meeting with them. And we were able to prove to URA that all the taxes they were demanding from us were irregular. In that some of them had been outlawed by the amendment of the Act in 2016 that waived these other taxes, income taxes for the Sacco. So as a result of that, all the 19 billion that they had slapped on us, we remained with only 23 million Uganda shillings. And the chairman guided that, pay that one quickly, and we paid it. So as we stand here, we no longer have that liability that was hanging on our neck. We are able to negotiate our way out using the understanding of the tax policies of the country and moving forward. So that is a big achievement for us. It was something that was worrying us. Worry no more, the Bible says. All is at rest. Then the other one, of course, is the surplus now, which has also continued growing from 54.9 billion in 2021. This was lockdown time. To 81.7. You can call it 89 when you add the other one. But when we are discussing the tax, the surplus, which is going to be applied to the members, we have to remove will, because we agreed here that will should be given time to mature, just like Wazalendo Sacco was given time to mature. So in terms of compliance, I want to report to you that we have continued religiously complying with the Cooperatives Act, CAP 107. There are challenges of the MDI Act, but Okusco is here. Maybe he will be given, he has a platform to speak. We will talk about what we are doing in terms of multiple regulation and what we want to achieve as a sector of the cooperatives. We strongly believe that we need one single regulator for all of us, and that's where we are standing. And Wazalendo Sacco is part of that. In terms of service to members, we continue carrying out member education and product awareness drives, and they are generating a lot of results for us. We exposed 31 delegates to DE philosophy training. Delegates understanding what the Sacco business model means. And even this year, we are going to do some for these members. This is done under the auspices of ACOSCA. ACOSCA is the African Confederation of Cooperative Savings and Credit Associations. This year, we are hosting the conference here in Uganda, and we have already nominated people. We have trained our people in accredited development educators. In the board and management, I think we have over 16 of them. I think if I may ask all those accredited development educators from the board and the supervisory committee and management to stand up so that you see what we are achieving as a Sacco in terms of building the capacity of our people to understand the Sacco business model. Please stand up, all those who have done DE. So you can see in the board, we are remaining with only one person, and that is Kano Jero. In the supervisory committee, they are done. And in management, we are continuing to build because, of course, we have the larger numbers. Thank you so much. This is what is making a difference in the Sacco, Wazalendo Sacco. I call upon my colleagues who are running Saccos here that this is the training that we need. This is the training that we need. This is the understanding that we need. We need to understand what business model are we running. What are the requirements and how we can deliver performance. We are perfecting and popularizing the mobile banking platform. That's why I've invited Airtel here to talk to us, to share some of their highlights that can make us aggressively participate in this, because there will be revenue sharing again in that line with them. This also expands our revenue streams. We are aggressively popularizing the business account and the cash flow loan. Initially, what would happen is that our members would come and get a loan in the sacco based on the salary. But like General Kaiura seated here, he has so many other projects that he has that are generating cash flow. So we went there and studied what he's doing. I said, you come and get money. So we are working with him, and he has been one of our best borrowers in that area. So we are doing a lot of work so that when you have a project, you don't have to run anywhere. You come home. We shall sort out these things. The other thing that we are doing is that we intend to focus more time in information gathering to enable us to understand the needs of our people and tailor the products and the services that we offer to the needs of our people. Key priorities for 2024, progress on key areas in 2024. We upgraded our core banking system to make it a bit more robust and relevant and effective to deal with the volumes of the transactions that we do. We are continuing to improve the business processes, policies, and procedures to be able to respond quickly to business disruptions. And we are prioritizing onboarding new members to the mobile banking platform. Right now, the question is, when are we getting ATM cards? Yes, ATM cards, we are supposed to get them with Postbank, and they are supposed to move to a Visa card. Now we cannot process the ordinary Union Pay cards. When Postbank is going to the Visa card, we have to be very patient and also join that one. And then the other thing that we are doing is that we are also prioritizing the security of our systems. As you digitize, as you open up, you are inviting more threats. So these are areas that will require us to continuously allocate money to ensure that we secure this money, we secure what we are doing. We achieved most goals, like the chairman said, and we are confident that with this, we shall be able to perform even much, much better. I'm not going to the details of what I said in the book, but I just picked a few areas for emphasis. Ya kuzingatia. Here, when we were here, they said, ya kuzingatia. So, what are we looking at in 2025? Just a few things. One, we want to enhance member satisfaction. And we are starting from here today by giving back to you and going to plan on how we can give you more. But most importantly, in the offering of our services, how satisfied will you be? Then we are going to continue growing our membership and saving. I want to thank Chair, I want to thank you for the continued mobilization. We wrote to the CDF and requested that our troops who are training in the training schools, and the commandants are here, and the Deputy Tradoc is also here. We wrote to the CJS, and CJS wrote to CDF, and guidance that was given that all the new soldiers who are training in the new schools should open their accounts in Wazalendo sacco, not anywhere else. And I want to thank the leadership for that bold. Now we have a starting point from where to move forwards. I think that's a very good thing. With the Joint Chief Finance, we are organizing how we can constitute a team to go and actualize that. We are going to enhance the use of technology, like I've said. Of course, we are also studying the possibility of acquiring a better and robust core banking system in the near future. We continue building strong governance, leadership, and management structures that respond to the growth of Wazalendo Sacco and the future that we want. And of course, with this, you will need a strong capital base, and we are focused on building a strong financial and capital base. Now, the other thing that is coming is the issue of environmental social governance. And this is what we have made priority number 6 in our revised strategic plan. And we are very sure that when we deal with issues of environment, then we shall be very responsive 360 degrees. So you will see some of the proposals that are geared towards this. We started by putting it in our strategic plan. We are seeing how we shall start planning for it. And I'm very sure as we go forward, we shall develop a product that targets the members to contribute to environmental social governance. So we are working, it is a work in progress, and we shall continue. Finally, I want to confirm to you that the results presented in this AGM demonstrate our collective responsibility to ensure that we mobilize resources to support our operations. All of you have contributed to this. It is not about the board, it is not about management, it is about all of us. And I want to thank each one of you for the role that you play. I also invite each one of us to play a part in the sustainability of the Wasako. The proposals that are going to be said here, some of them touch on how we shall retain some money in the sacco. Let's support them, and then we see how we shall go forward. Then, of course, we have put forward also a budget that we intend to run with this financial year. It is there at the end of the book. You look at the figures. We have a projected balance sheet. We have a projected statement of profit and loss, and then we have a capital budget that we are intending to run with for this year. Some of the things we have already started working on them, but of course we need the approval of the GM. So please support us. I want to take this opportunity once again to appreciate, first of all, the Commander-in-Chief for giving us an opportunity to serve in UPDF and for mentoring us to be officers and gentlemen, ladies that we are today. Then, of course, the visionaries who started the SACCO for their contribution, the leadership for the guidance that we continue giving us, and the support. For us, we process papers here, we send them to UPDF. The JS Finance makes sure that the money is recovered. The chiefs of staff of the various services have a say in this. We thank you for that continued support. Then, of course, the board for the strategic guidance that makes us what we are, and supervisory board for the professional oversight that they play. And then the rest of the delegates for the engagement that you have with the members. Where we are, you are. Where we are not, you are there, and we thank you for that. Lastly, our partner banks and the other partners that we work with, the telecom companies that we work with, we thank all of you. And last but not least, the media. You see, you can be here. The media will tell your story. The media can make or break you. And I want to thank you for the positive reports, the actual reports you report about Wazalendo Sacco. In the past, we had been fighting with the media. They would pick something from the street, and then they publish it. But these days, they call us, and as we have this, what is your take on this? Then I also engage, and we give them the correct information. That's why you find that, apart from the other alarmist reporting of 20 that appeared in one of the media houses, without consulting us, we have not had challenges with the media reporting on things which are not clear. And we want to thank you for that. We are very proud of you, and we shall remain partners. Let's clap for them. Asante sana. Thank you very much for listening to me. I wish you nice deliberations on the things that we presented to you. I say this for God and my country. I've been reminded that I would be sacked after here for not introducing the management team. Please march forward here so that people can get to see. I've been reminded that you have no job after here.
Quickly, please.
A vote of no confidence was looming. So please, quickly, let's finish this.
As they come, the CEO has thanked the Commander-in-Chief for having allowed us to serve in the UPDF, but he forgot the song. Tulijitolea sisi wenyewe tukaachana wazazi wetu tukomboe nchi, nia ya chama cha NRM.
Okay, it's a big team which is here. I'm also going to allow them to please introduce yourself and what you do.
Kano Jagwebeno Nikato, Director Finance and Administration.
Kano Yusuf Magero Buha, the Managing Director, Wazalendo Investment Limited.
Mr. William Atalieva, Director of Operations.
CPA Beth Chiza, now the Head of Risk and Compliance.
Lieutenant Colonel Wesley Aine, the Head of Human Resources and Administration.
Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Kwezi, Head ICT.
Lieutenant Colonel Apora Himisiwe, Head of Internal Audit.
Lieutenant Colonel Julius Katanaka, Head of Finance.
Lieutenant Colonel Acacia Simpawaisi, Political Commissar, Wazalendo Sacco. Amoti.
Major Livingston Msime, Head Information and Security, but in the UPDF setting, I'm the Intelligence Officer, Wazalendo Sacco.
I rest my case, sir. Thank you very much, CEO, for that insight in the performance of the sacco during the year under review. I did skip one item mistakenly, and this is review of previous action points, resolutions. Sorry. May I now invite the Secretary of the Board to quickly give us the summaries. Thank you.
Chairman, Board, General Officers present, Senior Officers, SUP Board Chairman, the Chief Executive Officer, Honorable Delegates present, members of management, our partners in business, all invited guests, protocol observed. As earlier alluded, I'm Colonel Dan Tizwayo, and I'm the Board Secretary of Wazalendo Sacco. And as Chairman guided, I'm not going to take a lot of time. It seems we are doing badly on time. I'll just go to the summaries of what I want to present. All of you, I believe, have these booklets, the small booklets. And that's where we have our previous minutes. I hope delegates, especially, you must have gone through them. So I won't dwell much on that in the interest of time. If there are issues, as the chairman guided, you can go look at them and then come and we will try to address them. But my main focus will be on the resolutions that were taken in our last annual general meeting. And could you kindly flash them? For the 18th AGM, not 19th. Who are you? Yeah. Okay, I can proceed, but there is something I gave you. 18th AGM, go to Board Secretary. Okay? So the first one, the first resolution that you can go to page 16 of our booklets. That's where we have our resolutions that were taken during the last 18th AGM. And the first one was that Wazalendo was to pay dividends on pro rata basis to fully paid up holders, totaling to 40% of the surplus for financial year 2023, and also pay 50% of these dividends into share account, into your share accounts, and 50%. And 50% of these dividends into the share account, and 50% to ordinary savings account. The surplus that was realized, as the chairman informed you, was 73,358,000,000. The dividends were 29,343,000,000. The share capital for the year ended 2023, because we are now reviewing the previous resolution, was the share capital was 222,870,000,000, and the number of shares then was 14,858,000, and the dividend per share was 1,975, and as the CEO informed you, it has now grown to 2,300 plus. So that was one of the resolutions, and I'm happy to inform you that I think it was fully implemented as the AGM resolved. The second one was to increase share transfer fund by Uganda shillings 1.6 billion, in addition to the balance carried forward for financial year 2023 of Uganda shillings 978 million, to a total of Uganda shillings 11,178 shillings. And that was to cater for retirees for batch 13B and 14. Those members of ours that retired in batch 13 and 14 were paid that amount of 7,614,855. So this is what the chairman was talking about. When members retire, they tend to come and toa yote. They remove all their savings with Wazalendo, and this is some of the money that was affected. The other one was a wall. We have members who normally go a wall, and the figure then that was calculated was 1,308,000,000. Then we have members who pass on, those who die and other issues. They also took 2,254,000,000 from their savings. Their estates come and claim this money for their bereaved people. The third resolution was the voluntary transfer of up to 25% of individual members' retirement deposits to share account. This one CEO alluded to, and those who took benefit of the resolution managed to transfer 25% of their retirement savings to share account to grow their shares. And today, when we pass the resolution to appropriate the bonus, majority will benefit from this. The other one was to maintain the education fund at 15% of surplus for financial year 2023. As you are aware, the Cooperative Societies Act, the law that regulates SACCOs, gives us a responsibility of appropriating 1.5% of surplus to that fund. And that fund actually is what CEO alluded to, that helps us to train train members of the sacco, the board, management, and soup board, also the delegates. So this is the money that we use to train you to understand the sacco philosophy. We also had a resolution to pay 1.5% of the financial year 2023 surplus as honoraria and bonus to the board of directors, supervisory board, elected delegates, principal staff officers, and management staff. This one is intended to motivate this category of people because, as you're aware, some members of management, board and SUPCO don't earn a salary. So this honoraria is kind of a thank you. Once we've realized a big bonus, it's prudent in financial circles to reward the people who have reached that achievement. The sixth resolution was to allocate additional capital of 8.3 billion to Wazalendo Investments SMC Limited. You heard from the MD Wazalendo Investments on what they've achieved so far, and all this is from this capitalization of 8.3 that has enabled them come up with these estates, the road construction unit, and they are looking forward to come up with a forex bureau. But maybe in the proposals we shall see what they are proposing. Then finally, the AGM, the annual general meeting, also amended our bylaws in Article 17 for the society to partially open the common bond to cater for Class B members who shall be defined by no voting rights. But first of all, common bond here, what we are alluding to, common bond is that bond that brings us together. And if you go to your bylaws, I hope all of you have a copy of the bylaws, that small book. Kindly go to Article 17, which talks about our common bond. And this common bond of our sacco encompasses all members of the UPDF, our fraternity here, our spouses, as General Kavuma alluded, our children. That's another category of members that are in our bond, and members of staff of Wazalendo Sacco who are not uniformed. They also benefit. Then members of the Ministry of Defense, the civilian staff of the Ministry of Defense are also members of that bond. But now the AGM, because we wanted to grow our sacco, by growing the sacco, we mean we want to grow numbers. We want to grow numbers so that we get capitalization that will be able to service our requirements like loans and so on. So we came up with the board, the annual general meeting resolved to amend that article to include Class B members, those members that are not part of that group I mentioned about, but there are limitations that the AGM resolved to have, and one is that these other members like the public, like Airtel or whatever, ministries, you can come and join Wazalendo Sacco, but as Class B members, and you'll be limited by these requirements down here. First of all, you'll have no voting rights, you'll have no shares, you'll not hold governance offices like being on the board and what have you, and you shall be allowed to save with Wazalendo Sacco. You'll, however, be allowed to save with Wazalendo Sacco and access secured credit services. And finally, there will be no attachment of family members like the Class A group. So those are the AGM resolutions which were adopted and implemented, and I think I rest my case here in the interest of time. Chair?
Now, before you leave the podium, we need to do away with this one, because these are records of the past meeting. So we want to find out whether they are the true record of the meeting. And if so, if there is any, in case there is anybody who has an observation or who sees that maybe he has not properly captured what we agreed here, you raise up and say it. Yes, please. Yes. Is that wing? Okay. Go to page 27 of your report.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Since we're here to capture the true record, whether to have the right record, on item Echo Cantonment Commanders, serial number 66, I wish we correct that. I was a Lieutenant Colonel and I'm Colonel. For record purposes, because it can be challenged in the future. I was a Lieutenant Colonel and I'm still a Lieutenant Colonel. Then, before we started, the MC had corrected something, but sir, as you are starting, you ought to have also talked about it, such that this is a true record. We are seated in Gaddafi barracks, not to make Lugazi. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for those serious observations. Another one?